Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to talk about two very sensitive subjects and two that I would not normally go on the interwebs and start sharing these things with people, but I feel led to do so, and I'll tell you why in a second. I mentioned in a video a few weeks ago I was talking about a specific dress, and I mentioned how I wore it before I had a breast lift and how I wore it after I had a breast lift, and so many of you guys have reached out to me wanting to know about my breast lift experience. And even in my actual real life, whenever I have mentioned to someone I know or whatever that I had a breast lift, they're like, tell me about it. And then, I even had a friend who ended up getting one after I got one because I told her about my experience and everything. And let's put some disclaimers on this video, y'all. I'm not telling anyone they need to go have surgery. Don't think that's the answer to all your problems. Surgery is not going to make you happy. I'm obviously not telling anyone to go do anything. But the other thing I want to say is if you are not on this video to learn about perimenopause or a breast lift and you want to come and go in the comment section and shame me or any of these women watching for wanting to have a breast lift or take control of their perimenopause symptoms or anything like that, please just don't. Just go watch another video. There's no reason to waste your time on this video. There's a million other videos out there that would be fun, but I don't like women shaming other women with things they do with their own body, but I really just, let's let this be a safe space. Because what a stranger does with their body has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. It's their personal choice. So now that we got out of the way, I'm assuming if you are left, you want to know you're interested in my breast lift procedure and my perimenopause symptoms. I'm going to start with perimenopause, and then I'm going to leave a timestamp if you want to go straight to me talking about my breast lift. And the reason why I wanted to talk about the breast lift is because whenever I first started my YouTube channel, some of my videos that really kind of popped off, and a lot of you guys, maybe you're still here from there, you subscribed to my channel, was because I did videos on how to style a large bust. And at that time I had a double D. Anyway, that was my situation then. And I also had a tremendous insecurity about my cleavage and everything, which of course I didn't really share then, but we'll get into that in just a little bit. But because I did do a lot of videos on that, I do kind of feel like I need to share that I had a breast lift because I can wear different things now that I definitely could not wear before. So anyway, I will start with my perimenopause symptoms because perimenopause is something I've also been experiencing as well. So I'm 43, and if I had to guess, I'm going to say it must have started around like 41 looking back, and I just didn't realize what was going on. And mainly what I'm talking about, there's all kinds of symptoms that you can experience during perimenopause and of course menopause as well. Lots of women are different. There's some women that have hot flashes really bad. I have never had hot flashes, and I actually asked my mom if she ever had them, and she didn't. She went through menopause without hot flashes. But my big thing is the brain fog, y'all, and the low-level anxiety. I've never been a person to have these basically like ADHD symptoms and low-level anxiety. I haven't necessarily been like a calm, serene person my whole life, but it's just, I could normally identify the thing that's causing me to feel this way. Whereas I would just have a normal day, nothing stressing me out, but I just feel this like, but the brain fog, man, was real. And there were just so many times that I was like, I guess I'm getting older. I have a 4-year-old, he's almost 4, and I have a 9-year-old. And so at that time I had like a 2-year-old and I had a 7-year-old. So I thought I just have a lot going on. And that was why I was just really having these brain fog moments, or times when someone would be talking to me about something and I'm like, oh my gosh, did they already talk to me about this? I think they already did. I'm supposed to know the information that they're talking about right now. And I would be too embarrassed to say, what are you talking about? I don't know this, because then I would feel so bad if they have shared something with me and my brain fog was making me forget the information they shared with me. I was having these issues where it's just like, what is going on with me? I don't know what turned me on to thinking that perhaps I needed to go see somebody because, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this, but you just kind of feel like I'm just getting older. Like I got a lot of things in my mind. I need to start writing things down, and all of those things are true. And I do have a lot of things going on. Like I am the default parent. I do have 2 jobs and I have 2 kids and I have to deal with all their school stuff and like remembering this and the softball and the kick. I mean, you know, my husband obviously helps a lot, but there's always a default parent, and that's me. And it is just a lot going on, but at the same time, it's like, what is going on with my brain? This is nuts. So luckily for social media, one good thing that's come out of social media is there's a lot more information out there. And there's Dr. I think her name is Marie Claire. She's talked a lot about menopause and perimenopause on TikTok. You might already know about her. And Shailene Johnson, is that her name? She did Beachbody and everything. I love her. She's talked lots about it on her channel. I'll link her below about menopause and perimenopause and just all the things that go with it. But there's lots of people who have identified these brain fog things and like the anxiety and just different like almost ADHD symptoms that you can have during this time in your life. And it's not because you're going crazy. I thought I was getting dementia. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got early onset dementia. What the heck? But it's your hormones are going nuts. And I did watch a course on Masterclass on menopause, which I highly recommend if you have a Masterclass subscription. That's a really great course. Just kind of break it down for you and just what all is going on with our bodies. It's insane that this hasn't been focused on. Like, it's just insane that women were going to the doctor being like, I can't remember things and this is happening. And they're just like, oh, you're just getting older, you know, brace yourself. It's just crazy that this has not been more of a focus until now. Anyway, I started working with, you guys have probably heard me talk about MIDI Health. They sponsor some of my videos, and this video is not sponsored or anything like that, but they're an online service. They connect you with clinicians that specialize in women's health. And so I started working with a clinician who specializes in menopause and perimenopause, and she put me on HRT. So that's the hormone replacement therapy. And I started with an estrogen patch and the progesterone pills. And, you know, I guess some people have bad reactions to that stuff and it makes them crazy, or I don't know. That's what I've heard. But man, it like changed the game for me. And I'm not going to say that all my symptoms are gone and everything's perfect, because I still have this like occasional anxiety and I still have some brain fog, but it's not even remotely like it was. Gosh, I mean, and you have to do your own research. I'm not a doctor. My cousin's a doctor. That's about as close to a doctor as I have come. I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I do my own research, and I do know that all these things, what works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. But the hormone replacement therapy is where it's at for me. I don't see myself stopping that anytime soon, because it kind of just made things make sense a lot more. And so again, I still have some of those symptoms and I still have to work with just my lifestyle and everything, but things are a lot better now. Now also with perimenopause, and I just still haven't been able to tell whether it's perimenopause or just me needing to do lifestyle changes, but my sleep, I've never been a really great sleeper, but my sleep is just terrible. And it has gotten better. And I think it's probably the progesterone that I'm taking. But I just know that if I drink coffee too late in the day, if I look at my phone and I do anything on my phone right before bed, if I watch some kind of TV right before bed that's stimulating, if I do anything stimulating soon before bed, I'm probably not going to sleep well. I'm probably going to wake up way earlier than I want to. I'm going to be a little tired the next day. It's just not going to work. So I know for myself, and I don't want to get too far deep into this because I feel like I'm already talking a lot, but I do feel like lifestyle changes has helped me a lot with my sleep and just feeling better. And so that in combination with the HRT has been great. I don't think there's like a pill. You can take a pill and then life changes. I really think it's just kind of needs to be more a holistic approach. Now, in terms of my diet, and some of you guys ask about that, but this has been a kind of a roller coaster ride for me, but I can tell you the things that work and the things that don't work for me, and some of the changes that I've made. One is I don't work out like a fanatic. I lift heavy. Like I do lift as heavy as I can at the gym. I'm not like a 5-pound weight person or anything like that. And I make sure that I go at least 2 or 3 times a week. But I do enjoy the feeling and the endorphin rush of doing a really hard workout, and then the feeling later on. I just feel better in my body. But I do feel like the muscle loss thing is real. I know that's a natural thing with women, especially over 40. We just start to lose a lot of our muscle mass, and it's just really important that we lift weights and just do at least some kind of exercising, some kind of physical activity. But the things that I've really focused on is getting a lot more protein. Like I make sure that I eat protein at every meal, and it needs to be a high quality protein. And I eat a lot of fish. I do love a Greek yogurt in the morning, and I put some like granola on it and blueberries and honey and cinnamon. Actually, my whole family eats that now. Or I'll do eggs. And I do, again, a lot of fish, a lot of, one of my favorite lunches is to get a can of tuna, an avocado, lemon juice, salt and pepper, and eat it with some Tostito chips. I only do that about once a week because, you know, there's the whole mercury thing. So that's my once a week lunch sometimes. I haven't eaten that a lot lately. And I do a lot of bean salads. I do grilled chicken sometimes. I don't do a lot of red meat, but the protein thing is important. And then I am a person who gets a sweet tooth. And so all this stuff I mentioned, I just want to jump in here really quick because I know eating is just a big thing for all of us, what foods to eat and what not to eat. And one thing I noticed about myself, and this is not saying that this is your issue, but this was definitely an issue for me, is that I would snack a lot during the day when I wasn't even hungry. And I would just I would just be not sure what to do in work, or I would have a creative block or something, and I would go to a snack. Or I'd be like, now's a good time to eat because that feels good. And so I had to stop doing that. And I cannot keep like muffins and cupcakes and anything like that in my house. I do not have any of that stuff in my house. If I want a baked good, which that's like my downfall, are baked goods like cupcakes and cookies and that kind of thing, I either have to make it myself or I have to go physically to a store and buy it. It's not just sitting there waiting on me. So I just know that about myself, that I can't have that stuff just sitting there easily, readily available. So then I know if I really, really want it, I'll go the extra steps to actually get the thing. But that's something that I have to pay attention to, because I can eat healthy all day long, but if I'm adding in cookies all the time, you know, it just doesn't work for me. I've also tried to replace the snacking with more healthy or filling snacks. I like those Chomps all beef bars. I don't eat those all the time, but that's just something that's a good like on the go snack that that's easy to eat, and it's more filling than just potato chips or something. And I also ordered a Zoe kit. They sponsored me on a video a little while back, and that was really amazing and enlightening to see what foods work best with my body. And they make it very easy to track what you're eating. You just take a picture of your food and AI does its thing. It tells you what you're eating and if it's good for your body or not, because you do a blood test, you do a poop test, you do all kinds of things to where it really gets in tune with your own body. Now, I know that MIDI Health, they also work with women with perimenopause weight gain issues. So that might be something. Again, this video is not sponsored, but I know that they do help people regulate that. And I know Shailene Johnson has talked a lot about that on her channel. So there's just a lot more. This is a whole deep rabbit hole that we could go into with diet and exercise and perimenopause weight gain and that kind of thing. But just to share a little bit about what I eat, I'm not perfect and my weight fluctuates, and sometimes I'm better than others. And when I go on vacation, I eat whatever I want. And then when I come back, sometimes I have to tighten the reins a little bit. But eating high protein in every single meal has been, I feel like, what has really kept me in check. Now we'll get to my breast lift in a minute, but before I had the breast lift, I wanted to lose weight because, you know, you don't have to be a rocket science to figure out that if you lose weight after the breast lift, you might end up with some sag again after, because then you're going to lose weight in your boobs as well. So I was like, I got to lose weight before that. So that was tremendous motivation, let me tell you. I mean, because I was like, it's, you know, breast lift is expensive and it's a big surgery and everything. I don't want to do this again. So that was a huge motivation. And so I lost a lot of weight before my breast lift. And that was a big motivation. So with perimenopause, just to wrap that up, if you are experiencing some weight gain, the skin changes, my skin definitely on my face got a little more saggy. you've got the brain fog, you feel like you've got adult onset ADHD or something like that. It could very well be the perimenopause. It is no joke. And so what I've learned about it is that perimenopause can start up to 10 years before you actually go into menopause. So, I mean, it just, you have, I guess, I don't know, 10 or 15 years of all these hormonal changes. I will say the hormone replacement therapy and then just lifestyle changes and just really noticing what affects me. Like for my sleep is super important to me. So noticing what negatively affects my sleep was important for me to learn. And, alcohol, I can't do alcohol anymore. I still drink alcohol sometimes, but as far as like drinking, having a glass of wine after a long day of work, can't do that. And alcohol also makes me gain weight. So if I habitually drink alcohol, I will gain weight no matter what. Anyway, don't discount all the toll hormones can take on your body and your life. I would definitely think about lifestyle changes. Think about hormone replacement therapy, possibly, read all about it first. Lifestyle changes, you got to do those too, though. It's not one or the other. There's no magic pill that just makes everything go away. I think you have to do both. Okay, let's talk about my breast lift. This has been just, so many of you have reached out asking about it. And then even just in my personal life, I have had people ask about it. And at the same time I was having a breast lift, a friend of a friend, or this girl that I know, she also was having a breast lift. So we were like communicating about it. And she got hers, I believe, paid for by insurance because she was having really bad back problems. And you have to go through all these steps to get insurance to pay for it, like prove that it's causing back issues and all that kind of stuff. But I believe I'm almost positive she got insurance to pay for it. And then after I got mine done, another friend of mine, she had a breast lift, and I want to say insurance paid for hers too. Again, they were both situations. I think they had like F cups, something like that, to where they were legit having back problems, and it was really an issue. Now, my situation was not like theirs. Mine was more, it wasn't really, I can't even really blame childbirth. I mean, this started in like my early mid 30s. I was just like, what in the heck? And what I've learned from my surgeon when I went to my consultation, which you will need a consultation before you sign up for any of this. I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But what he had told me, he said there's women who have had 9 kids and their boobs are still perky. They just sit there. And then there's women who have never had a kid and they're like in their 20s and they're a lot more like just loose skin and that kind of thing. And he said, it's just genetics. It is what it is. That's just life, you're just born with one thing or another. So I think I'm more in the latter category. And it's just kind of always been an insecurity of mine. And trust me, my husband's never said anything. He didn't care whether I got this done or not. Like, it wasn't like, he's like, that's your decision. Like, nothing like that. I'm not feeling pressured from any people. There's nothing negative going on like that. But I just really not been happy with what's going on here for a while. And then occasionally somebody would make some like rude comment on YouTube. If I did have a shirt that was like, maybe a little bit low, and they like say like how like bad my cleavage looks, like what the heck? Like, who says this stuff? I have to assume those people are very unhappy if they're going to actually say that kind of stuff to people. Anyway, this is a really big insecurity of mine. And even if you look at my like things that I wore before I had this, a lot of it's super covered up here. Like, even I guess I'm pretty covered today, but I'm not going to be like, hey, but I still cover. I'm not like, I don't let everything like hang out now that I've had a breast lift or anything like that. But I just would be very, very covered up here. And I just had this insecurity about it. So I decided somewhere around my first kid, after I had my second kid, I'm like, I'm going to get this done. And so I decided when my son was about 2, I'm like, I'm ready. I want to do this. Like, I'm ready to do this. I don't want to just wait until he's 18 and then go do it. And I remember I was like finally ready to do it. And I decided on this surgeon that had super good reviews. My mother had gone to him for something years and years ago. And he was a couple hours away. But I just felt like, okay, he'll be the best. Call him up. I'm ready to do it. And they're like, great, we have a 6-month waiting list to have a consultation. Not even a 6-month waiting list for the surgery, y'all. It's a 6-month waiting list for the consultation. So that's why I'm just telling you, a lot of you guys in my comments when I was asking, about what you would like to know for the breast lift stuff. A lot of you guys were like, it kind of sounded like you want one, but you just don't know enough information about it. Let me just tell you, you're going to get all the information that you need from that consultation, and it does not obligate you to anything. And also, it's not going to be tomorrow. If you were to call and you find a really good doctor and you want to just look at the reviews, if you can ask around, great. Once you find that person and you call, they're most likely going to have a waiting list. And it's going to take a long time to even get that consultation. And when you finally get to that consultation, that's when they're going to look at you. They're going to tell you what you could do, all the things. You ask them all the questions, and all your questions will be answered. And that would obviously be the best place to find out about your situation, as opposed to like me. I'm just telling you my experience, but obviously I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But just let you know, go ahead and make the consultation, because it's not going to be tomorrow. It'll be 6 months from now or whatever, and it'll take a while. Now, my surgery was $6,000. I don't know what the going rate is. I just know that was what mine was. And as far as the actual surgery, once I had the consultation and I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this, I want to say the surgery was still scheduled like 6 or 8 months away. It was scheduled a while away. It also had to work out with my timeline, because when you have the surgery, you need to take time off work. You can't work from home. I mean, you can, but like, I don't want to say that. I was telling a friend of mine, she has this really demanding job. She's a big lawyer for this huge company and everything. And she was kind of like, oh, I could work from home. Like, no, you literally need to take off work for, I would say, a good 10 days, but not because you're like, oh, in pain for 10 days or anything like that. But you are so tired after this surgery. So I had this surgery. They do it. You're in and out. Of course, somebody else is driving you to your location, and I was just in the bed for like 3 days, and I didn't feel great. I wasn't like throwing up or sick or anything. You're just kind of like groggy, and you're just kind of like, ugh. And so I feel like I just slept. I don't even know if I really took that many pain pills, because it wasn't so much I was in pain. You're just kind of uncomfortable and you're just groggy. You're super groggy. So I would say 3 days, you're just going to be in bed. You're not necessarily going to be like reading a juicy novel or anything either. You're just going to be like sleeping or whatever. But after that third day, I feel like every day after that, I felt significantly better, to where you get to a point where you're not supposed to be lifting anything or doing anything, but you just kind of feel fine. And so you have to know, they will tell you, they'll say like, you have to wait a full 2 weeks before you can lift certain things or whatever. And I want to say it was only like 6 weeks until I could fully do push-ups and stuff, which I was like, what? That sounds crazy. But yeah, so the recovery, as long as things go well, is actually really kind of fast. But the reason why I say you need to take 10 days off of work is because after that 3 days, you start getting significantly better, but you're still not in any kind of mind mode where you could get online and start doing stuff. It's just, you could probably do like a little bit every day, but you 100% do not want to be obligated to do anything except for just heal. The friend of mine who had her surgery after mine, it was her daughter's birthday going to be, I think, within that week. And she said, oh, I'm just going to go like take her to the mall and we're going to walk around and we'll like find something for her birthday. And I'm like, if there's any way to postpone that like a week, but she wanted to do it on her birthday. And then she texted me because she had gone and done that. They had gone to the mall, and she said, I had to cut it short because I was just like struggling. I was so tired and just like, your body's been through surgery. Like, you really have to give yourself time to recover. You're not going to be multitasking. Just do not obligate yourself to anything for 10 days. 10 is a good solid number to where you'll be out of all the grogginess and stuff. But it just, as far as recovery, I really can't say that it was anything terrible. It's just that you just have to really give yourself the time to recover, to like lay in bed the whole time if you have to, but just, you really want to give yourself that time to recover. Now, the bad news with mine is that my nipples are uneven. So this one is fine. This one is like over here. And I did have a final, like, kind of meet up with them, like the kind of, I guess, they dismiss you, like, okay, you're great. And I pointed that out. I'm like, I feel like this was uneven. And they said, okay, well, they're going to shift. It's going to take like 6 months to a year for them to shift and like get to their final position. Well, it's been like 2 years now, and they're a little uneven. But the thing is, I was like talking to my husband. I'm like, what am I going to do? Call him up and tell him to do it again? No. And it's also really not that, I'm not walking around with my nipples out. So it's just, it's that big of a deal. And I don't want to say that it was, I don't know enough. I mean, maybe it's the surgeon's fault, but I am still really happy with everything. And I will say that it just, these kinds of things don't make you happier or change your life in terms of like, oh, I was unhappy and now I'm happy. But man, when I tell you, I can wear so many things now that I never could wear. All of the extra feelings and insecurities and the difficulty finding things to wear that I felt comfortable in is just, it's all gone. And so I can wear so many things that don't even require a bra. And I still wear a bra. I'm wearing a bra right now. But, if there's certain things that feel more comfortable without a bra, I can do that. I never was able to do that before, nor would I ever feel comfortable with that. But even just the sole fact alone that I can wear all these things that I've never been able to wear before now, totally wish I actually talked about this in the video called Things That I Wish I Would Have Bought Sooner. I had this whole thing I was going to say, this is also something I wish I would have bought sooner, but it has nothing to do with clothing. But in the end, I took it out because I was like, oh, nobody wants to hear about that. This is a clothing video, but apparently I should have left it in. But anyway, that just, I definitely do not regret doing that at all. Like, I will take uneven nipples over what I had before any day of the week. Now, I had a breast lift. I did not have an augmentation. So I just had, basically what they do is they cut your nipple, they cut right here, and they move everything up. They take off the excess skin, and then they sew you back. And so what he had told me is I had enough breast tissue to just lift everything up. I guess it would just depend on what your breast tissue situation is, but he just basically didn't even ask if I wanted an augmentation. He was like, you have enough tissue, but it's for sure not required. And even the two friends that I have that had the breast lift, also, they did not have an augmentation. They actually had a reduction. They had a reduction and a lift. I just had a lift. Theirs was both reduction and a lift. But I guess you get an augmentation if you wanted to. And then in terms of scarring, everyone's concerned about scarring. And what my doctor had said, he said it just depends on how you scar, how your skin scars. So I have a big scar right here. And I got in a really bad car accident when I was in college, and it broke my arm, and they put a plate in here, and then about 10 years later, I had to get it taken out. So this has been cut twice, and that is worse than what is over here. But this looks worse than this does. It's 2 years later, and they have kind of faded into just little white lines. So, and it's not like a whole bunch of people are seeing them. I mean, it's so unnoticeable that I'm very happy that that's how it happened. But even if you did scar and it turned into pink, bright lines or something, I think they almost all fade. Just being able to wear the things that I can wear now, how much more comfortable I am in my own skin is just so well worth it. I can't reiterate that enough. And again, I'm not trying to tell anybody they need to have surgery or anything like that, but the feeling more comfortable in my own body and feeling more comfortable with the way I look is just kind of priceless almost. It's really changed the game for me. So I am extremely happy with having done this. Now, in my comment section on the post that I posted on my YouTube channel, there were several of you guys who said that you had had some kind of surgery and it was definitely something you wish you would have done sooner because you're just so happy with how it turned out. So again, I'm not telling anybody they need to go have surgery or anything like that, but usually these are things that we're not just getting on a whim, and it's something that's been like it's really been a thing for you for a long time, and it's really been something that's really bothered you and truly just caused issues in your life. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, our skin, we're going to live a happy, long life. And so our skin is naturally going to do things. And so I don't think there's any problem with just getting it put back where you want it to be. So I think I covered most everything about the breast lift. If you are considering having one, honestly, I would just make the consultation. You don't have to obligate yourself to it, but because I just feel like if you have all these questions, instead of going to the internet to find all of them, because I did that too. I would go to the internet and I'm like, how does this work and whatever. It's best to go to a doctor, have them look at you and your specific situation and tell them what it would be. If you go to a doctor and they're like, I see you in triple Fs or something. If you get a weird feeling from any doctor, be like, thank you, bye-bye, and go see a different one. So, and also look at the reviews. If there's a way to do word of mouth, great. And, I think this can be a good experience, and you just want to make sure you just do your research and you have a consultation and you go with if it feels right at that time. So like I said before, I am a large C, small d now, where I was a double D, sometimes an E. So I'm just a little bit smaller. And again, that's just what happens when you take away this loose skin and you put things back up there. But your situation is going to be different. And you just need to find out from a doctor what your options are. I hope that answered the questions that you had. And again, I would just highly recommend making an appointment with a doctor, asking all your questions there, write them down beforehand. And again, once you go to that consultation, which will probably be in 6 months, you're not going to just sit there and have to schedule it that day. And once you have that consultation, you'll probably, honestly, I felt like once I had it, I was like, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. This is what I want to do. I'm sold. Let's do it. Because up until that point, when you finally get to that consultation, you've already been stewing around in your head for years probably. But it's just a good place, you want to ask all your questions. And then the surgery is not going to be tomorrow. If you schedule the surgery and you're gung-ho about it, you schedule it for 6 weeks from now or 8 months or whatever it is, and then you change your mind later, which always happens, no big deal. You can always do that. But I'm just telling you, it's not going to be something you decide today and it happens tomorrow. It's going to take a little time. If the doctor is available tomorrow to do it, run the other direction. I have a feeling he might not be that good. So I hope I answered all the questions for perimenopause and my breast lift. And feel free to ask some questions in the comments and I'll try to answer them as best I can. And again, this is just my experience. I'm not telling anyone what to do or anything like that. This is just what has been my experience personally. Anyway, anything I talked about, I'll link below in the description box. And let me know any other questions you have, and I'll see you next time.